Is the KKK a cult? This is something that I've been toying with for the past couple of days because I've been watching these videos here on YouTube about Forsyth County in Georgia. Now, if you're not aware, back in 1987, Forsyth County was a white supremacist stronghold. So you have the KKK, you have these white supremacist groups that were in Forsyth County. And Oprah Winfrey went down there to do a show about it, talk with residents. Well, things got so heated that she left within the first day. And this made the national news. There were some protests. So it got me thinking, what exactly is the KKK? I mean, we know the violence committed by the KKK, but is that today's KKK? By the way, this is the Culture Confederacy. Welcome back to the channel. It's Friday. If you liked the video, please click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes, leave comments below. And now you can reach me on Twitter, Culture Confederacy Twitter. I'm going to do this video in one take, and I'm just going to go through my notes here. So if I stumble, if I fumble, forgive me. But this is something that I really wanted to talk about. So the KKK, the Klan, Ku Klux Klan, probably formed its name from the Greek, Kyklos, K-Y-K-L-O-S, plus the word Klan, so Ku Klux Klan. And it had three phases. The first began in 1865 to 1871, when 6 Confederate veterans from Pulaski, Tennessee, formed the fraternity just after the Civil War. It was to be a secret organization, a fraternity for Southern men, based on the fraternal orders in Europe and the fraternal orders that were popular in the country at the time. Now, while they were racist against newly freed blacks, they had not yet embraced anti-Semitism, as Southern prominent Jewish citizens also joined the Klan and engaged in some of this violence. Now, when Nathan Bedford Forrest saw the violence, he demanded that the group disband, burn their robes, and he didn't want anything to do with it at that point. But some of these chapters did not close. They decided to stay open, if you will. And the original intent was just a preservation of Southern culture, Southern society. Like I said, a fraternity for Southern men. Now, in 1867, the first official meeting took place in Nashville, where a hierarchy was formed with local chapters that answered to a national headquarters. And this was based on military rank and the structure of fraternities, like the Masons. But it never operated under this organized structure, with local chapters and associated members acting independently. And while it did create a white oath, loyalty to the South, the reenfranchisement of white Southerners, they blocked the vote of any white person who refused to swear allegiance to not bearing arms against the North. And Forrest was elected the first Grand Wizard, but he did not found the KKK. That's a misconception. So Nathan Bedford Forrest did not found the KKK, but he was its first Grand Wizard. And members at the time included bootleggers, a few freedmen, ex-Democrat politicians, and Republican allies, farmers. Now, the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871 was passed to stop the Klan violence. So, after that time, the Klan died. There was a slight resurgence in the 1880s, I believe it was. But the second wave started between 1915 to 1944. The third wave, 1950s to the present. And it was especially active during the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s, late 1950s, early 1960s, that time period. Now, today, as of 2015, well, I don't want to say today, but as of 2015, last time the survey was taken, Klan chapters grew from 72 to 190 nationwide. But each Klan chapter has roughly about maybe 30 to 40 members, so it's a very small number of people. And they work independently of each other, with an emphasis on anti-illegal immigration, urban crime, civil unions, same-sex marriage. Now, during the 1920s, or just about 1920 or so, the KKK opposed immigration from Southern Europe, especially Catholics and Jews. And they have been evolving slightly. I'll give you an example here. You have John Abar, who heads up the Rocky Mountain Knights in Great Falls, Montana, and he claims that his organization does not exclude members based on race, religion, or sexual orientation. Rather, he advocates for a strong America and calls his group a fraternal organization fighting against the New World Order. And he's quoted as saying this: the KKK is for a strong America. White supremacy is the old Klan, this is the new Klan. But some people have doubted his intentions. But here are some of the cult-like characteristics of the Klan itself. While they claim to embrace Christianity, message of salvation, they use baptism, they have Bible studies, they emphasize that the U.S. was founded as a Protestant nation, that the erosion of that society is due to an influx, if you will, of non-white, non-Christian immigrants, or this growth of a non-white, non-Christian population. But they claim to disavow hatred and violence or white supremacy. And they believe that all races will benefit by a return to the foundation, majority white, in control of government, society, culture. But this is contrary to biblical training. And I can talk about this from experience because I grew up in a non-denominational evangelical church. Pardon me, my throat's going today. But they grew up in a, I grew up in a, as I said, I'm doing this in one take. I grew up in a non-denominational evangelical church. So we embraced everybody. And one of the things we studied was Jewish history. Because anybody who knows anything about the evangelical church, or actually the Pentecostal is the more appropriate term for it. The Pentecostal church, you'll know that it is steeped in Judeo tradition. Example, Passover. So we observe Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, Rosh Hashanah, all these Jewish holidays. If you're a Christian in America, you will observe these different Jewish holidays. Now, there is, of course, I don't want to say a fight, but this theological difference between the Messianic Jews and the traditional Jews. But Judeo-Christians today would be more in line with the Messianic Jews, going back to the day of Pentecost. In fact, I might do a video about that. It's a very interesting topic, and is a driving force behind modern Christianity. And by the way, modern Christianity is not what you see on TV. I know a lot of you watch Peter Popoff late at Popoff. Peter, however you say his name, Peter Popoff. Watch him late at night. He got exposed on Johnny Carson. Forget that guy's name who exposed him. They found out that his wife was wearing the radio, or he was getting messages in his ear, radio transmission from his wife. So as I said, modern Christianity, especially evangelicals or the Pentecostal, even Southern Baptist, Methodist, they believe in the traditions of the Old and New Testament. They observe these Jewish holidays, or Christianity is rooted in some of the Jewish tradition. And there might be some differences in theology amongst these different branches of Christianity. Methodists have different traditions than, let's say, the Pentecostals compared to the Episcopalians or the Lutherans. But a lot of this theology is also in conflict with some of the teachings in the Catholic Church. It's a multi-layered debate, if you will, in modern Christianity. Now, the Klan in the 19th and 20th century showed their true colors by engaging in all this violence in its philosophy, its actions, which were not Christian at all. So So let's talk about the burning of crosses, the Confederate battle flag, the white robes that they wear. Now, in Thomas Dixon Jr.'s novel, The Klansman, he borrows the idea that the first Klan had used fiery crosses from the call to arms from Scotland, or going back to this so-called tradition in Scotland. That's still somewhat debated whether they did that or not. A lot of research says that the Scottish did have this call to arms where they had these fiery crosses. It was also known as the Cross of Shame. And this is mentioned in the poems of Sir Walter Scott. Now, burning of the Latin cross is used as a sign of intimidation. And Klansmen will also engage in prayer while they're doing this, sing hymns, and these other religious or quasi-religious rituals, and especially in the area in the reverence of love and beauty. In many ways, this kind of mimics what was going on back in ancient Greece. Aphrodite. And they also have their own instruction book, if you will. This really kills me. The name of their I didn't know they have this. But the name of their instruction book is called the Cloran, or Cloran. I believe it's pronounced Cloran. So it's Kloran. And as it turns out, this was written by William J. Simmons around 1915. And there's this belief in the Cloran that Muhammad was white and that he had all these African slaves. So they want a return to African slavery. And the reason why he wrote this, or was longing, pining, if you will, to return to the practices of Muhammad, is because at the time, of course, we no longer had slavery in the country, but slavery was still being practiced in Islamic countries in 1915. Now, the robes, very interesting, the robes that they use, there's actually different color robes for the Klan. And this identifies where the rank is in the organization. But this also mimics the practices of the Druids, who had different color robes for their hierarchy or structure. So for the KKK, the Grand Dragon wears gold robes, or it could be green. A Nighthawk wears black, which is a security position. Red can represent the Grand Wizard. White is the general lower ranks within the organization. And fraternal orders also used color robes, by the way. Now, Pentecostal and Christian denominations, such as Southern Baptists, do not burn crosses. And there's a reason for this. Even though you have the KKK claiming that it's part Christian, there's or quasi-Christian. There's a reason why people such as Southern Baptist or Pentecostals, the Lutherans, the Methodists, do not burn crosses. And that's because the cross in Christianity is seen as sacred. Sign of reverence. This is where Jesus sacrificed his life for the sins of mankind. And if you see a robe on a cross in Christianity, that symbolizes Jesus' resurrection from the dead. So Christians today do not burn crosses. Pardon me. We do not burn crosses. So let's talk about the Confederate battle flag. The KKK leadership in recent years has discouraged its members from displaying the Confederate battle flag. And the Confederate battle flag was never the official flag of the KKK. The Confederate battle flag was strictly that, a battle flag. It was actually the battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia. And it was designed in 1860. The Civil War ended in 1865. So the Confederacy was dead and gone by that point. The KKK was formed after, in December of 1865. A lot of people get that confused. They think that the KKK was formed right at the beginning of the Civil War. That's not the case. They were formed in December of 1865. After the Civil War had ended, after the Confederacy had dissolved. And the flag that you're most likely to see at a Klan rally is not the Confederate battle flag, but the American flag or the Union Jack. And the Klan has its own flag. Usually this is a flag with a red or white field, and to the side of it, or in the middle of it, you're going to see a circle. Inside that circle is a cross. Inside this cross, I can't even talk today. Inside the cross is a diamond with a blood drop. In this, more in the shape of a tear, but a blood drop. So that is the official flag of the KKK. But once again, the KKK never made the Confederate battle flag its official flag. It never was. So in conclusion here, I really believe that the KKK is actually a cult because of some of the practices. Now, they may have adopted practices from the fraternity, but more of, now as far as structure-wise, yes, they mimic a fraternity. But as far as the rituals, the things that they believe, it is more in line with some type of sect or cult than it is in line with mainstream Christianity, even though they claim to adopt Christian values. But as mentioned in my notes here, they believe in fighting against the New World Order. They believe that it should be an all-white, or that the government should be run mostly by whites. They don't want immigrants in the country. And a lot of people say, yeah, well, that's what Trump supporters were for. No, Trump supporters believed in immigration as long as it was legal immigration. I love that comparison. That anybody who voted for Trump is a KKK member, that isn't true. Yes, you have some idiots out there that may have supported Trump in the backwoods somewhere, but they don't even matter. As pointed out here in what I shared with you about the membership of the KKK, which is very, very small. I think it's roughly about 3,000 members. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click that like button, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes, leave comments below. See, I told you I can't talk today. I'm doing this in one take. I got to do the overnight shift tonight. So I hope you did enjoy the video, and please click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, or you can hit me up on Instagram at #JasonComposes. Leave comments below, and now you can reach me at Twitter, Cultural Confederacy at Twitter. This is the Cultural Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. I'll catch you next time, and God bless this great country.